Hey, what's up, everybody? PDF44 coming at you with another video. Okay, so Anthony Davis is going to be returning to the Los Angeles Lakers the first week of April. That's what the reports are saying. So if that doesn't happen, certainly do not come here saying BDF44 said definitely. No, he just worded it that way. They're telling us this, that's what I'm telling you. So that's what it is. And that roughly puts him back on the floor with maybe 5 or 6 games left, depending on what game they decide to bring him back. Could be the Pelicans game, could be a Denver game, could be the Phoenix game. My question is, if they're bringing him back, which I'm fine with, if they decide to do that, and he's ready to go. But like, if you plan on bringing him back, is he playing all 5 of those games? Is he going to play 2 out of those 5 games? Like, that's my question. Is it like, because even though in theory you want to work him back into the equation and probably more basketball is best for him, this time of a year you really don't play your stars. You know what I mean? In this situation you probably would rest them otherwise anyway. Now you consider the situation we have with the seeding and where we could fall in terms of falling out of the play-in tournament, and yeah, we probably definitely we need him to play all of those games. However, is that what we're doing? Like, I'm just wondering if that's realistic. Are they really planning on playing him 5 straight games after having him out with this injury? And if so, is that what the doctors are telling us, or is that just something y'all doing? I can't see anyone telling him to go out there and play in all those games. And then as the playoffs go, how are we working Anthony back into the equation if he's going to come back, not play all 5 of those games, and then have minutes restriction, which is to be understood most of the time anyway. Now, when we brought him back last time, we had him on minutes restriction for about a game, and then removed that minutes restriction, had him playing back-to-backs, and we see what happened there. So, we need to start understanding something. And that understanding is, we are teetering on a line. We're walking a tightrope between trying to balance out these very, very, very expensive, but only few assets, and trying to make sure that they get a chance to compete for this season. That balance is going to put us in a position to make a mistake, and that mistake is likely going to cause us to have players injured in the offseason that we'd otherwise want to see on the trade block. And that's my concern. You bring Anthony Davis back and he gets hurt, now we don't have any leverage to trade him if we were so to choose. It puts us in a more desperate situation, for which GMs will use against you when you're trying to make negotiation things happen. It's just, you got to understand the entirety of what it is you're dealing with if you're the Los Angeles Lakers, as it pertains to mortgaging your future for the betterment of this team that does not have everything that it needs to be a champion this season. I don't care how much rah-rah, how much we back our team, how well we believe they're going to play. We're just simply too small and lacking in talent to defeat everyone left. That's just what it is. We're good enough to overachieve, but that overachieving will not bring us a title this season. So when we bring in Anthony back and we're trying to rush Kendrick back and playing THT, and all these guys are playing, I hear Russell Westbrook's also playing hurt, even though nobody's supposed to know that. All of these things, if that's what's going on, so that we can compete with this season when we don't even have enough, that just doesn't seem like a good organizational decision. I don't know. If I were in Jeanie's position, I'm not sure what the future would hold for the Lakers over the next 7-8 games for the rest of the season. I don't know what the future would hold for us, because on one hand you want to do right by Bron and allow him to compete. On the other hand, you have to do right by yourself and protect your assets. And I just feel like, how far do you allow your unselfishness to go for this season, and how does Bron view this? How does he view this? Because if I'm him, I'm looking at this kind of torn too, because I know that this season means a lot to me, obviously, given the fact that this is year 19. Got my brother AD here, Russell's here, we're all, my brother Melo here. We're all trying to do it now. Next year ain't promised. Anything can happen. We got to do this now. So that's probably where I'm leaning if I'm Bron. But on the other hand, I'm saying, okay, so I am attached to this organization. are they going to make a good organizational decision here? Do you understand what I mean by that? It's like, now maybe in my mind, I'm thinking I'm the best organizational decision for the Lakers, and if that's the case, ignore what I'm saying. But I'm looking at it from my perspective and pretending I'm him, saying I want to close my career with an organization that makes good organizational decisions. At the end of the day, if the Lakers do this, even though it benefits my timeline, in the back of my mind, I know it's not that great of an organizational decision. And I just wonder if the Lakers understand the fullness of all of that. You know what I mean? That possibility of how he's looking at y'all saying, okay, you're doing what you're going to do for me, but I'm going to get the hell up out of here because y'all make bad decisions. It's kind of what I think he did to Cleveland. And I could be wrong about that, but that's just, I don't know. But anyway, so at the end of the day, the Lakers, I feel, have to make the best decision for themselves. And I still believe that a lot of that is going to be riding on these next couple of games. If we win this Pelicans game, then we should probably just continue to move forward the way that we have been and compete and try to make this play-in tournament. If we lose this Pelican game, you know what I mean? Now we're looking at a situation where we have to start understanding that, hey, we do have another game with the Pelicans. We have 2 games with Denver. We got a game with the Utah. We got game Golden State. And some of these guys are going to be resting their starters, but it's going to be hard for us to beat some of these teams if they don't. And I just know that if we lose these next 2 games, this next one with the Pelicans, and then follow that up by losing against, I think it's Utah, we're going to be in a position where things are going to get tight because San Antonio is playing really well right now. They've gotten some things worked out. They're healthier right now. They got players who've been playing all season who are young players, so that means a little more experience. They're getting better fast, that kind of thing. They are hot on our tail. Even though they're several games back, they're winning and we're losing. So we need to be mindful that they're going to probably force us to play everyone, even if we don't want to, just by how well they're playing. Now, Portland's backed off. We ain't got to worry about Portland. Obviously, New Orleans will be right here with us. So we need to just understand that this race is also extremely tight to close this season. So it's a lot to consider. You think about the 1 through 10 pick and how that affects people's thinking as well. And you just root for the team. Obviously, this long break gives people a lot of time to think, as I'm thinking right now. I'm sure the Lakers are as well. Sunday is when the game takes place, and we'll see what they do. CJ McCollum's been playing great. Herb Jones starting to pop off and really, do what it is that he does continuously, which is be a Swiss Army knife. Defensive player, not afraid to bang. My favorite young rookie in the whole league, Trey Murphy III, is finally getting a real role with this team. And as I've told you guys, I think he's going to end up being one of the best players in the game one day if he develops into what it is that I believe his potential is, which is probably out of this world, given his shooting ability. The Jose Alvarado is somebody who's starting to show me that he can really go. He is not just some guy. This is someone who can do some serious damage. Kira Lewis is another player on the back of the bench who was a lottery pick, who I still think has all the upside in the world. If they give him a real position, he could get healthy, that kind of thing. I like the Pelicans, man. They don't have bad pieces. Obviously, you think about B.I., you think about Zion, even though neither one of them will be playing in these games. You still understand that this is a Pelican team that can give you a lot of trouble. So, their future's bright. Obviously, they're highly motivated against us, given the Anthony Davis situation. This is important. This is a very big game, and it's in their building, if I'm not mistaken, the Smoothie King Arena. And of course, I'll give you a video on that when the time comes. But just saying, ahead, this is one of the biggest games, if not the biggest game of the season for us. Simple as that. It is pretty much the biggest game of the season. So I think if we lose that game, it'll bring up the question of whether or not we should shut people down. And if we win that game, then we'll be more excited about making the play-in tournament than ever. It's as simple as that. So looking forward to the Lakers making good decisions in the offseason, but most importantly, making better ones even now. Give them this Pelican game and then assess everything afterward. But that's how I would play it if I'm Genie. This is a very big game for you guys. That's how I would play it. So, yeah, that's what it is, man. That's pretty much what all I have to say. Welcome back, Anthony, in a couple weeks. We're excited to have you back, but more so excited about you coming back healthy. 100% and in better shape than you've ever been. And that's not something you're going to give us. And that's why I want you to work off to sit out the season and just focus on your conditioning for the rest of the offseason. I think the same thing for Zion Williamson, since we mentioned the Pelicans. I think it's one of those situations where if you feel well enough to play and your team ain't good enough, in my mind, that means you feel well enough to work out and train and up your conditioning. You don't have to get back on the NBA basketball floor. You just got to put in more hours in the gym if you're healthy. And then you put those hours in, you can manage that nutrition, do all the stuff that's necessary. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. October comes, and you're in the best shape of your life because you didn't rush on the basketball court when you felt good enough to play. You rushed back into ramping up your conditioning as you continue to rehab. That's how you play these situations if you're Zion. You don't worry about getting back on the floor right now. Hell no. Hell no. You take the conditioning you're in right now and maximize it so that you'll be in the best shape of your life come October. That's how, I don't know why more athletes don't think that way. Trying to rush, hurry back? Hell no. If I'm Paul George and I'm Kawhi Leonard, same thing. I'm not coming back this year. I feel good enough to play. That means I'm going to be out there running harder, pushing harder in the gym to give you the best conditioned athlete you've ever seen come next year. Because if they do it that way, their teams are going to be much better than they're going to be if they don't. Simple as that. So that's what I think, man. Anthony Davis, I want him to reinvent his body, particularly his lower half. More stretching, more running, better eating, whatever is necessary. Turn that lower body into strength. Squats, calisthenics, whatever isn't being done, that's what he needs to do to prolong his career. Otherwise, he's going to be disappointed with these injuries all the time and have to hear people's mouths, So I want him to take his conditioning seriously and do ballet, whatever the hell he needs to do the next level stuff. He's a $100 millionaire. He can find the best stuff for himself. Change your body, fam. Turn your body around, or your career is going to be done in 12 years. It'll be about 12 years. Where are you at? Year 10? You'll be retiring in 3 years if you stay on this path, in my opinion. I'm not even kidding. So I really do think he needs to turn everything around. If he's eating a certain way, stop. If he's smoking or something or drinking something, stop. If you don't have a stretch regimen or a workout regimen that is outside of what it is that you do on your regular basis, all the stuff they do in the lab, if you don't do nothing at home, start. Those are the things that needs to happen with Anthony Davis. Whatever he's been doing as an athlete, he needs to take it to another level so that his conditioning can match what his talent can provide, And that's not an overnight thing. But when you're 28 years old, you can 100% reinvent your body so that by the time you're by the time that you're 32, you are actually in better shape than you were 28. I have no doubt about that. I've lived through it. It's true. So I think Anthony Davis should do that. And that's what I got to say, man. My name is BDF44. Once again, I thank all of y'all for watching me. I'm out.